Hey there, it's Tennessee Homestead. How the heck are you? I had a couple of people ask me about what kinds of woods and so forth do you want to burn on fireplaces and stoves and things of this nature, and outside burning pits. And so I thought, it's for folks who've never dealt with this much, it may be a good idea to give you a list of them here. Mankind's been burning wood since, we were in the caves. And we've learned lessons over the years. Wood is a tremendous heat source and for cooking. It's a renewable energy. It's a good way to, save yourself some money. I know cutting and hauling your wood can be a little strenuous. There's also some companies out there right now today that can do it for you, and not too off the price. Let's put it this way: burning wood is a lot better than freezing, and it definitely helps with getting that first morning cup of coffee put together. Okay, kind of important. Thought I'd bring you up to speed on it. There are some different wood types out there that you want to kind of stay away from, and we're going to go through those today. Some can be extremely dangerous. You don't want to get started off on the wrong foot. A lot of people throw all kinds of stuff especially in an open pit. I've seen them do it even in stoves and fireplaces, cardboard, styrofoam, plastics. You got all kinds of chemicals in there, folks, that come out and come rolling back out at you. I've even seen folks use dryer lint, which contains chemicals from the laundry and so forth. Don't use that as starting fires. Take some cotton balls, put them in a plastic bag with just a dab of alcohol, shake it around a little bit, store it for lighting outdoor fire of this nature when you don't have matches and so forth available. They're very easy to do with the alcohol on the cotton balls. They burn for quite a bit, so a couple of cotton balls can get you a pretty good roaring fire going. Something to think about. Keep them around in a Ziploc bag, out of the reach of the kids. So let's get started. What kind of wood don't you want to burn? And we're going to start off with number one, greenwood, freshly cut wood. Okay, one, if you get the stuff to light. While I don't know, it's all that toxic, the excessive smoke that's going to put off. One, if you're kind of in a prepper situation where you just as soon not send up signal flares, greenwood would not be something you want to burn because it'll be seen for miles around and leads right back to where you're at and doesn't burn very well. It's always best to go ahead and cut your wood and get it seasoned. My number one on my list is that you don't want to really burn is greenwood. Number two on my list is driftwood. I know when I lived out west in Seattle and so forth, a lot of folks would cut up driftwood. And you don't know what kind of chemicals that stuff has been floating. All right, you might have had a piece of driftwood that went through an area that has been dumping industrial waste and so forth into the ocean. That driftwood's going to soak that up. Then when you go to burn it, it's going to release it. So you want to be careful with driftwood. I myself never really burned driftwood except for as a absolute last resort. Usually if you're around the ocean, walk up into the woods a little bit, you can find things other than driftwood to burn. Okay, driftwood, you're taking a risk with it, and it could be a big health hazard to you. Number three, another wood that you don't want to burn, and that's the engineered wood products. It's like OSB, plywoods, things of this nature. Burning those kind of lumberyard types of glued together wood, you might say. And that's what your OSB is, just wood chips glued together with an epoxy. Fumes off of that, not good. Some of them can be actually harmful to you. If it's for general construction, usually that's got it tested down to where it's not very harmful. You want to just kind of avoid it. One, it doesn't burn very well. I mean, the amount of heat you're going to get off of something like that, and you're going to be standing there stoking the fire all night long. Many of the adhesives in that sort of stuff does contain formaldehyde. So in a closed area, it could really cause a problem. The wood burns very rapidly, and like I said, it will release a lot of toxic chemicals for you. So try to stay away from the pre-engineered wood products. Number four, pallet wood. That is treated with all kinds of fungicides and insecticides and so forth for what it's there to do. I mean, it's there for shipping. It can produce very hazardous smoke coming off of it. You don't want to be in an enclosed area with it. You probably don't want to even be in an open area with it. So any pallet wood like that, just pass on going ahead and using that, because good grief, folks, not worth the risk for one, and it is a little bit hazardous. Keep that in mind when looking around for wood to burn. Number five, pressure treated wood. Okay, the stuff that goes designed to be in contact with soil. Pressure treated wood is far more dangerous than pallet wood. It has been injected with all sorts of different chemicals, including arsenic, all right, to keep the little critters from chewing on it. And that is released in the smoke when it burns. They've tested this stuff. Arsenic is released from burning treated lumber of any type, 2x4s, 4x4s, whatever. And the EPA does consider that to be hazardous waste. So kind of keep that one in mind. You know, a nice fire is a great thing. Not so great if it puts you in the hospital, okay, or kills you. Try to keep a level head about it. All right, number 6, pine and softwood. Pine, and that also would go along with 2x4s and things of this nature for interior construction lumber. Most of that is pine. The problem with pine is, one, it's a pretty sappy wood. Okay, it burns really pretty fast, doesn't burn heat, doesn't give you a lot of coals, and all in all, it's just not a good wood for burning. It does, because of the sap pockets in it and so forth. If you've got like a fireplace with a little brick mantle out there, I have seen pine wood just pop a big ember right out in the middle of the floor, and that's something you really don't want to have happen, especially if y'all are like downstairs in the family room and you got a fire going upstairs. Before long, you're going to be warm when you thought you wanted to be. But it really does cause a lot of sparks to fly out of fireplaces and stoves. So, you know, if push comes to shove it, you got to use it. Okay, protect it carefully. If you don't have a large mantle area, very large mantle area, because I've seen these embers pop out for 6 to 8 foot. Be careful with pine. The sparks can fly quite a distance. The rosin is something you don't want hitting your floor, okay, because it kind of sticks to your flooring and fire sticks with it. So be careful with the pine woods. Outdoors, not too bad, you know, if you've got a fire pit or something like that, but you also don't want one of those embers jumping up in your lap either. Not a lot of fun. So pine, try to stay away from. I understand, like, if you're up in the Pacific Northwest and so forth, yeah, you're probably going to end up burning some pine. Make sure you really cure it good, okay? You want to, on any of your wood, you want to, you know, cut that stuff and get it stacked, leaving yourself air openings to where the air can flow around and through it, and leave it there for 6 to 9 months minimum. Let that stuff get dried out. It's going to burn hotter for you. You're not going to have a lot of the problems, but you want it dry, folks. I mean, seriously, it'll give you the better cold bed and things of this nature. Okay, then we come up on the one tree that you never want, ever. It's called the yew tree, Y-E-W. And I'll put a picture up here to it. The yew tree is, everything about that tree, from its leaves to its roots, is poisonous to humans. Poison. This stuff, let me see, all parts of it's poisonous. The poison is called taxine, which causes cardiac arrest. You don't want to be in the smoke of that thing. You don't even want to handle that wood without wearing protective gloves. Very poisonous. Take a hard look at that tree, and if you've got them in your area, stay the heck away from them. They are extremely, extremely deadly to humans. Next thing, rotted wood. You want to stay away from that. Number one, the rotting process causes that wood to be moist, which produces more smoke. But mainly it's got funguses that grow in there, and you don't know which funguses happen to be growing in that wood from its deterioration. Stay away from any kind of rotted, moldy wood. It can produce toxic substances in the smoke. Not worth risking your life over, folks. If get an axe and get out there and get to it. Okay. Make sure you got good lumber and good wood you're working with there. Rotted wood is not a good idea. So unless I have used in the past on a down tree that's rotted a little bit, taken some of the bark if it's dry and used it for starter, but boy, you don't use much of it. Alrighty, wood that has been painted or stained. Be very cautious of that, because you don't know what it was stained with or varnished with. Some of the older paints, if it's got old paint on it, could be lead-based, and those fumes are going to contain, or that smoke is going to contain a lot of lead in that smoke. Most furniture is good to burn. It's a hardwood, so forth. You want to try to maybe strip some of the finish off of it, sand it off, whatever. I know most folks aren't going to do that, because if you're down to burning your furniture, you're in total survival mode. But understand that if you're going to burn furniture or something that's been painted or anything, make sure it's in a well-ventilated area, because you just have no idea what kind of toxins you're liable to get into, and that could be a bad way to, finish your evening out. Okay, most of the folks who are going to burn these woods that we've been talking about are drawn to it. Usually are the folks that do not have a good stock of firewood available to them. Prepare in advance. Make sure you got a good stock of firewood that's dried, cured, that you have available. Even if you go out and, if this is totally for an emergency situation, go out and pick yourself up. You can find them in some of these thrift stores anyway, of 5 or 6 small logs in a bundle. Get a couple of those and store them in a dry place. Problem solved. For the, emergency situation or during a disaster. During a disaster is not the time to find out you have no way to stay warm or no way to cook. So having a little bit of firewood, seasoned firewood, hanging around your house is a great idea. Okay? Doesn't take up a lot of room. I'm not talking about putting up, 50 cords to get you through the winter. Although if you live in a pretty rural place that has problems sometimes with keeping the lights and the gas on, yeah, you might want to make sure you have that. Before I left the farm down there, I was looking at even putting a wood furnace on my current heating system. Save yourself a lot of money, folks. And when I priced the one out I was looking at for the house, it was probably about $2,500. The whole unit sat outside. All that went in there was the ductwork, and it was nothing more than a fire and a fan, basically, in a box with a chimney. But pretty much, you went out and filled it up. It'd last for the night, and boom, you're off and running. Those things will warm your house and keep it warm. Your furnace will cycle on with your thermostats, just like it always does. The blower will come on, blah, 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 and you're running off of wood. Save yourself a lot of money, especially if you're on a place that has its own hardwoods. Anyway, this was just a brief reminder and maybe something for folks who haven't ever dealt with this kind of stuff before. You might want to keep these kind of things in mind, because it can happen. A bad storm come through, or if things get as tough as they're thinking it might, it may get a little hard to pay that light bill or electric bill, and also pretty tough to pay for natural gas. So maybe a good alternative. Have I ever had to live like that briefly? Yeah. There's been times where we lost a furnace in the middle of winter and nobody could get to you for 3 months. And we had a nice heat-later fireplace in the living room, and it was like camp out every night for all of us. So you can do it. And be comfortable. A good fireplace in the home, if you're building a place, kind of keep that in mind. They make a lot of decent fireplaces and so forth that have duct heatilators that'll blow air to different parts of your house and things of this nature. Cook stove helps warm the house and also keep your house warm. Everybody could use a little extra money, can't they? And as long as you're still young enough and healthy enough to get out there and chop some wood, you may not like to. You'd rather sit there and play the video game. Put out the effort. Make sure you got your wood seasoned. Have a great winter. We'll talk to you in a little bit. Love you guys and appreciate you. Take care.